gmail.com. So there also I created one user with the name Srihari M, and then I go to one of my uh, MCT account, and there also I added one more user who was the your uh, I guess I created the account for Jitendra, right? So I for Jitendra we have created an account, and I was showing you that I was having a lot of resources. Some of them I'm just deleting right now, but it's still for Jitendra, not the complete access of the resources were there, and he was just simply stuck with the some of the situations over there. Now he was unable to see anything. He was unable to see the access or even the Entra ID over there, and that is something that what we have seen or done till this point. Now I will come back and just for the beginning purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and discuss few things at the point of time. Now, when we are talking about your SC-300 and all these discussion that what we were having over here, so I will be continuing in this journey. So this is a bit of an introduction of mine, which we have gone through already yesterday. We have gone through the introduction of InfosecTrain as well, and I hope most of you are going to be familiar with the InfosecTrain. Then a bit of the endorsements and your trusted client slide. Then why to choose the InfosecTrain, and now this is going to be our agenda for the day two over here. Now, in day two, we are going to go ahead and talk about the access management for application, workload identities, identity governance, troubleshooting and monitoring, and towards the end, a bit of a Q&A onto the SC-300, what it is, what more in it is, if you will be having those doubts, we'll be talking about those kind of scenarios over there, right? And what would be a suitable path for you guys, that as well we will be talking about at that particular moment. Now, towards the end yesterday, a few points were left, and which we are going to discuss a bit more on the theoretical manner over there. So, a few things that were left for yesterday was the life cycle management of your uh, Entra ID. So, the general life cycle management of your IAM is going to be applied onto the your lifecycle management in the Entra ID as well. So both are going to be the same kind of a purposes over here. Okay, so here when we were talking about all these resources over here, first thing is there is going to be a proper lifecycle management over here. In the proper lifecycle management, what is going to be in there? There is going to be the discussion properly onto the your uh, in your Microsoft Entra. If you want, you can define the user. We have seen it. You can give the user the permission, and if at the end you want to delete them, so I will be showing you this thing practically in the end, that how you will be going ahead and how you can delete a particular your resource from the your how you can create a particular resource and even your identity from the your Entra ID solutions over there. So you will be having different stages, which is going to consist of provisioning, access management, password management, and even deprovisioning over there. Even you can provide something like the your you can provide someone like the access to the your I would say self-service password resets and all these kind of a thing. So a proper life cycle, assigning someone the permission and all, that is going to be the part of our discussion over here. So we'll be seeing and going through all these parts. So one thing that we will be seeing now practically is going to be the, like yesterday as well we were talking about the Entra ID is going to support something like your multi-factor authentications. So in the multi-factor authentication, it is going to perform SMS verification, full call verification, security keys you can use. So all the traditional ones. So if someone is coming from the AWS and looking the same factors over there, it is going to go ahead and support all the traditional methods of your particular multi-factor authentication. If we'll be talking about the phone call, security keys, or even security keys with the authenticator app, all these things that is going to be enabled. We will be today seeing that factor as well. and we were talking about towards the end the password management best practices. So first thing, when you have to go ahead and enforce the password, strong password policy, so you have to implement things like the length and complexity over there. Now, one thing you will notice, if you remember yesterday when I created a new account for the Jitendra, and then after that I was going ahead and I was just simply try to log in for Jitendra from the different page. And one very interesting thing, if one day you will be just going and playing with this one, so what will happen? For example, when I first log in with the Jitens account, it was asking me to go ahead and create a particular password. Now, by default, Microsoft has enabled multiple of the security features by default for all the accounts. So, like, it will not allow you to create a weak password by default. So if that user will be trying to create a weak password, it will give the warning like this password is too weak. Second thing, by default in the Microsoft Security your provisioning, like I was creating the account for the Jitendra, right? So this was the account for the Jitendra, which we have created earlier. So it was having like Jitendra's name. So if the same Jitendra they will be using the name of himself in the password, so it will give it the warning that you cannot, either it will be showing the weak or we have seen this password too many times. So it will not allow Jitendra to use the same username for the or same name in the password as well, like Jitendra in the password as well. Even if you will be utilizing very common password like password, 123, it will instantly tell you that we have seen this password too many times. Please try something else. So by default, there is going to be the multiple of the options and the solution that is developed by the Microsoft to protect its audience over there. So these things are going to be over there, and I'm just trying to get find those credentials actually where I have stored them. So I remember somewhere else I stored it, but which particular page, that is going to be a challenge for me look like to find. Oh, find it. Great. So like here I was having the Jitin's account. Hopefully this password will work and no problem should be over there. So right now, if you will see, I enter the password, it is directly asking me, do I want to stay signed in? And I would say yes. So this is a very, beginning and we have just logged in. So first thing is this one today. Now we have created a user account over here. Second thing that what we are going to require is, let's say I want to enable more security over there. I want next time whenever Jitendra login, so Jitendra should be asked for the multi-factor authentication. So for that, what I can do is I can go ahead and I can be utilizing the Jiten's account again. I will select the user, or if you will not select it, you will see one option here which is calling it per user multi-factor authentication. You can select this option. It will be taking you to the another page where you will see all of your users over there. Now, right now, if you guys will notice over here, all of these users are going to have something like your, if we will see here, one status that is disabled, right? So what I have to do, I have to go for the Jiten's account. For Jiten's itself, it is saying disable. Okay. There is one account for Jigar which is saying enforced. Right now it is saying disable for the Jiten. Now I will show you the three stages all in one single page. If you will see here, I will select Jiten's account and here I will click on enable. I will say enable multi-factor authentication over there, right? So I will close it this one and you will see here. Now, Jiten's account is saying enable. Small differences. Here, most of the accounts are disabled. Jiten's account is saying enable, and then there is something like the enforced. So three things you are seeing over there. Very common is one is going to be the disable. Second thing you are saying enable, and the third thing you are seeing is enforced. So what do you think? What is the difference between all the three? I think everyone know disable means no multi-factor authentication is there for these users. Now, what is the difference between enable and enforce then? Second and three. Okay, one simple thing right now you will be seeing for Jitendra, it is showing enable. Now, after what is actually happened is over here that when we were going with the Jitendra account, first it was disabled. From disabled, it has become now enabled. Right. Now, well, it is enabled that next time Jitendra will be logging in, Jitendra is going to be asked that which method for multi-factor authentication you want. And once Jitendra will be opting for it, then it will become enforced. So right now, what is happening from disabled, you have give this option, or we have for this identity, we have created that yes, it should go ahead and it should perform multi-factor authentication. But my user hasn't choose the method that whether SMS he want authentication, your particular authenticator app it want, what it want for that. That's why there is a difference over here. Now you will see that right now it is showing me for Jitendra it is enabled over here. Now next thing what I will do, I will go back to the Jitendra's account. I will select it and I will do sign out from the Jitendra's account. Right here, when we will be going ahead and I will be again selecting the Jitendra's account. Hopefully I have pasted the same password till now in my clipboard. And now when it is saying or showing me something like more information is required, that means it is asking me to perform the one additional factor, right? So I'm saying, okay, go ahead next. Now it will be asking me to set up the, a method for the multi-factor authentication. So in my phone, I'm having a Microsoft Authenticator app. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly open the Authenticator app first of all on my phone. Now, start by getting Authenticator app on your phone. If you want to use another Authenticator app, that option is here. If you want to set up a different method like SMS and all, that will be here in this option. I'm happy with the Authenticator app and I'm going to click on next. Now it is asking me to set up your account, and once you have the Authenticator app in your phone, there is going to be the, your I'm going to have in this, there is going to be a plus sign at the top. There is going to be option that you want to add a personal account, work or school account, or Google, Facebook kind of a thing. So I'm going to select, I want to add my work or school account. I will be scanning this and I will open the scanner here. I will click on next over here. I'm going to scan this scanner code, and now it is activating it from my phone, and it is saying account added successfully, but where it is that I can't see right now. Just there are actually too many of these things. Okay, so this is the Jigar's account, not the Jitendra. So let it be. Okay, now I will go on to the next. I have scanned the QR code, and now it has sent me a notification on my phone that approve this particular number. So I will be typing this 98 over here and click on yes. Now I have given it permission from my phone, and it is showing me that notification has been approved now. So I will go on to the next, and this is going to be the default sign in method now, and I will click on done, and now I will be clicking on stay signed in, right? So now I have have set up a particular of your MFA, factor. So I'm again going to sign out from the Jiten's account. Okay, and just over here, I will go back into the my admin portal. So this is my MCT account. So from there, I was just setting up multi-factor authentication for the Jiten's account. Now I will again go to the your multi-factor authentication page, and I will refresh this page over here. Now, if you will go again over here, now this time for Jitendra, you will be seeing things has changed and it has become enforced. So if you notice right now here, now for Jitendra, it is showing as well enforced. So first it was disable, then it become enabled, and now once it was enabled and I selected the method, it become enforced. So this is the whole scenario over here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly going to remove this from here, and I'm going to go ahead and you can see I can manage the user setting as well. So if I want him to restore multi-factor authentication on all remembered device, delete all existing app password granted by the user, require selected user to provide contact method again. So these things you can go ahead and add the contact method and multiple others attributes as well over there. And as we keep adding the attributes, more and more features are going to get unlocked for you. Even in this simple portal that you are seeing, there is going to be the all of the other options as well that you are going to be seen over here. So you can filter out the users. There is going to be the one section for service setting, which you will be going ahead and you know performing few other options over there, like allowing some IP addresses, who should be asked for multi-factor authentication, who should not be asked for multi-factor authentication. All those kind of settings are going to be over there. Now, with that, also, which method you want to allow. Let's say that in your organization only you want to keep one thing, that is the notification through the mobile app, right? Or verification code through the mobile app or hardware token. So you all these factors you can select from this particular smaller segment over here. So you can go ahead and you can find all these things over there. Now, what we will do is let's just go back to the portal, and there we will be seeing few more features as we keep moving ahead. Right. Okay. And in upcoming slides, actually, guys, I have added RBAC and all things. So, I will be going and talking about them theoretically later on. I don't think that right now I should be boring you with the theory. So, as I'm in the flow of showing you few things, so I will be showing you the RBAC and other controls as well, that how you'll be adding the few simple things. So, let me just close this multi-factor authentication. And okay, for Jitendra, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select and disable the multi-factor authentication, because and before disabling it, again, I want to show you to, before I disable it, for Jitendra, you will enter the password, you will click on sign in, and now it is on my phone, it is just simply asking me to approve the sign in. Okay, the number 64 I have to type, I have to click on yes. And on the bottom, if you have noticed, there was one option which was saying, do not ask me to go ahead and do this multi-factor authentication for next 14 days. If you want to see it again, I will be just quickly signing it out and again do the sign in over here. Here you will see, don't ask again for 14 days. So if we will be doing over here, this is going to be over there. And onto this particular part, what we'll be doing, where is the authenticator of apps notification? Yeah, here, 55, and I will click on yes. So when I click on that, this device is going to be marked as a trusted device, and for next 14 days, it is not going to ask me for the multi-factor authentication. So what I will do, I will select the Jiten's account. Right now it is Infos, and from Infos, I'm gonna go ahead and disable it over here, right? Because I'm just showing you the demo, so I don't want to go again and do the MFA again and again. Okay, now I will come back to the user, and this is the user section. So guys, you will be having option to create new user, invite some external user if you want to, even if you want to download users. So you can just go ahead and get the whole CSV file of the users from here as well, right? So these things are the just simple few options that you will be having over here. Now we have the user account, and if you remember, when we were logging in into the Jitendra's account, so this is a Jitendra account, and I was going onto the section of all resources, nothing was there. Even when I was going into the Entra ID, even nothing was there, no access was given to the Entra ID portal as well. Now let's just say to Jitendra right now, I want to give some role, like I want to assign Jitendra a role that he can go ahead and he can just do the bit of the setting of the user. I want to make him a user administrator. I want him to go ahead and access the, Entra ID portal, create user there. If needed, change the password as well. So user related adminning I want to give to the your Jitendra. So for that, what I have to do, I will be going on to the my main admin account, and for my main admin account, I will be going ahead, and from this place, I'm gonna go ahead and do something like this. I'll be on this part, uh, and from this one, I'm going to select Entra ID. I have now two options. Either I can go to the roles and administrator, select role and assign it to the your Jitendra, or I can go to the user section, select Jitendra over here, add, oh sorry, select Jitendra account. So like yesterday we were editing properties and we were adding attributes over here. Simply under this place there is going to be assigned roles. In assigned role, I will go ahead and add an assignment over here. So in this one, I will be selecting something like the user administrator. So Microsoft has already created multiple predefined rules, and these rules that you are seeing, if you will notice something that in the at the top it is saying that these are the directory rules. Okay, means on the Entra ID what permission has been given. So this is very specifically to task to work with the Entra ID over here. No other purpose for this one is going to be over here. So only you remember the Entra directory roles, it is going to go ahead and it is going to create this one. So if I will give user administrator, so user administrator on the Entra ID. Okay, so creating the user, it can manage all aspect of user and group, including resetting password for limited admins, right? So this is going to be the some of the your rules that or the permission that will be given now to the Jitendra. So let me just remove the drawing from the screen, select user administrator, click on add. Now, one thing that I have noticed, that if you will be giving someone the role, instantly it is not going to be working. So we have to just go ahead and simply work over here. Okay, so once you assign the role, you just have to wait around, personally earlier I used to wait around 2 minutes. Nowadays 1 to 1.5 minutes, you will see the changes taking place a bit more quickly, right? So only few more seconds we will wait, and then we will jump into the account of Jiten, refresh it one time, and let's finger crossed, hope for the best that he got the access over there. Okay, now we have waited long enough. So what we will do, we will be jumping into the now the account of Jitendra. Refresh this account one time. I am onto the Jitendra's account now, and we are in this particular part. Now, let's just say, let's go to the Microsoft Entra ID over there. Now, you will see earlier I was getting no access. Still, okay, if I will go into the Entra ID now, I can see all the user. Now, if you will click on the users, you will be seeing now you can see the users. If you want now, you can create new user, external user as well, and just simply go ahead and work with them. If you want to create a new user, you can create a new user now. So I have given you the permission over there. Now there is the abuse of role kind of a thing. So when you will see that here, this is a Jiten's account. I was showing you he is now able to access it. Okay. If he was going on to the AD, he was simply looking into this factor over there. Like, he can now go ahead, home page. This was the Jiten's account, which was earlier have no access on the Entra ID. Now, if I will click on it, he has the access. he was going ahead into the user. He can create user, he can change password for them. Then I was just showing you that if Jitendra want to abuse the role over here, so Jitendra will be selecting his own account. Jitendra will be going on to the assigned role part, okay, and see that okay, I am only getting the user administrator, no issues. I am gonna go ahead and neither he can remove this thing, neither he can add the assignment. And if you open the user role to understand it, either you can go to the description part, and here all kind of permission in the JSON, what in the JSON format has been given to you, what you can do, what you cannot do, all privilege actions what you can do is update user principal name, reset password for all users, and then something, not all user, not the admin, not every admin user he can change the password. Force sign out individual, enable user, disable user, delete user, add user. These permission has been given over here. So if you will be seeing, it is clearly written that user with this role can create and manage all aspect of user and group. Additionally, this role include ability to manage support ticket and monitor service health. There are some restrictions that may apply. For example, this role does not allow the deleting a global administrator or elevating his own privilege to the global administrator over there. So you can change password for users. Which user? Normal users, help desk administrator, and other user account administrator. So Hari, I just show you that there was not even an option of elevating the privilege or assignment. So you will see no option of add assignment over there. This is a simple user admin permission. So it is he just creates those account over there, not the permission. Okay. So for the permission, you need to give the different kind of the role to someone over there, right? And only he can change the password for user, help desk admin, and other user account admin only over there, right? So this role is going to be considered bit privileged because one or more permission are privileged over here. Okay, so these things are going to be the part. As you can see, there is no option for him to elevate his permissions over here or to misuse the particular user's permissions over there. So if he want, he can go to the Daksh account. Okay, and again under the Daksh account, he will go to the assigned role. Again you will see no option of adding the assignment, so that's why I have given the limited access to my user. And if at any moment you guys feel that you should be controlling the different part of the any role, you always going to have option of having a particular custom role over here as well, right? So these things are going to be over here. So this is a user who is now having the permission to create a user, delete a user, and change some of the password. So he become bit more of a privileged user now. Now what is going to happen is that in this particular part he is a bit more privileged permission. So even if he go to the all resources, still he can't see any of the resource. If I will go to my main MCT account right now, I'm switching back to the main MCT account and go to on the space. So, oh, okay, let it be here. I will go to home page, and from home page to all resource. Although today I was clearing out a lot of resources and still I'm seeing them over here. You will still see that I'm having a lot of the resources running over here. Now, from all these resources, even like around 54 resources I'm having, and if I go to the Jitendra's account, Jitendra is unable to see anything. So as I was telling you, as we keep moving forward, in some of the slide moving forward, I will be having the particular, you know, option to or theoretically to discuss about all these things over there. But I don't want to go ahead and discuss these things theoretically. Okay, means later on I will show you the slide, but right now I want to show you these things more on a practical ways over here. Now in this one, we will go and we will jump on to the your Okay, this Jitendra account and none of the resources. So how a Jitendra can get the access? Now, what Microsoft has done, even if you remember, Jitendra now can go ahead to the Entra ID and manage user. So one thing that Microsoft has provided a very granular level of access control. So there is a proper access control which is implemented by the Microsoft and at a very granular level. Okay, so at a very granular level, it is being implemented over here. So what is happening if I am giving a user a permission onto the Active Directory or Entra ID now, Azure Active Directory earlier, it doesn't mean it can go ahead and start spinning up resources, right? So those roles has been kept separate from your resource base, or I would say, yeah, resource based or resource group based rules itself. So now for the resource based rule, you have to very specifically give the permission. Like for example, if I'm going to talk about the virtual machine, it is going to be created and on the virtual machine only that user will be having permission. Now I will tell you a bit about the, let me erase all and let me just tell you a bit about your virtual machine. So from here, I'm gonna go back to my main MCT account, Rishabh's account. Okay. Now in this account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the virtual machine. I think I already will be having two machines are there. Okay, RKWin11, RKWin11 and 2. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is just to tell you about a few things here. Let me open a whiteboard. So what happens is those people who are not familiar with the cloud, what is going to happen if you will be requiring to delete a virtual machine in Microsoft Azure, least you will be requiring 4 items. And if I will be going with the default, there are 6 resources are going to deploy. And what are going to be those 6 resources? First is going to be always your virtual machine, right? That you want to deploy. But remember in Azure, what it is mandatory, it is mandatory that virtual machine need to be part of a virtual network. Okay, so another resource that is going to get deployed with this one, that is going to be VNet. So VNet is a mandatory component. VNet is virtual network. So if you want to deploy a virtual machine, it needs to be a part of a virtual network. So the first resource that is going to get deployed is going to be the VNet. Second resource that is going to get deployed is a virtual machine. Now, just virtual machine, you guys will be comparing with the laptops or PC that you have at home. Now, if you guys are running Windows or Linux, so where, one another thing, when a system start booting up, what it do? It just pick the resources from where? From your hard disk, right? If the boot process is going to happen, it is going to require what? A boot, right? So for that booting process, what you will require, you will be absolutely requiring a disk. A virtual disk, an operating system disk is going to be created for you. So now if you will talk about the disk, this is kind of, in our list of items, this is going to be the third thing that got deployed over there. Now, if I will talk about the VM was the second item in the list that got deployed over there, right? So three things till now. First is your virtual network. Second is going to be your virtual machine. Third thing that is going to be mandatory is your disk. Okay. So because virtual machine is part of the virtual network, one more thing will be required, and that is going to be the network interface card that you can utilize over here. So the I would say network interface card is going to be like fourth thing as a resource that need to get deployed. Then fifth and sixth, that is going to be optional, but I have deployed these things. What happened is to network interface card because I wanted to access it from the public channels. So what I have done with the network interface card, I have gone ahead and I have attached a public IP address to my I have attached a public IP address to my network interface card. And that's why when we talk about your public IP address, it is going to be in Azure Cloud. Your public IP address is going to be treated as the separate resource. So the fifth resource that will get deployed is going to be a public IP address. And then there is going to be the one more thing, because it is being accessed publicly. So I don't want everyone to go ahead and get the access to my machine or everything. So I want a very basic kind of the firewall kind of a thing. So for that, I have deployed a network security group, and that is going to be a sixth resource that is going to get deployed over there. So in total, we are going to have six resource in a basic thing, which I have deployed as a virtual machine. So fifth and sixth is totally optional. If you don't want fifth and sixth, you can, remove them. But four things are going to be the absolutely must over here. Now, why I'm showing you this thing is, if I'm going into my account and I select virtual machines, and if I will select the RKWin11, for example, this one, so you will see this machine is going to be the part of this virtual network, and then there is going to be the public IP address that is going to be the attached to this one. If I go to the network setting, you will see that I'm going to have a network interface with the name RK Win11M2309 as a primary, and it is going to have a network security group with the name RK Win11M2NSG over here. And if you will go and see here in the disk, it is going to be having a disk over here as well. So these are the resources that is going to be the part over there. Okay, so now this is my machine and this is my MCT main account, admin account, and that's why I'm able to see. Now I'm thinking, okay, let's give your Jitendra access of this as well, a bit, not complete, but a bit. So what I will do, I will go ahead to the access control in this machine, IM part, and in the IM part, I will go ahead, click on add a role assignment over here. Okay, in this role assignment, I will be simply going ahead and I will be searching for something like your, let's say, what kind of role I should give. Okay, let's give a bit more privileged role. Okay, so on a privileged role purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select the contributor role, right? So he can just go ahead and start a VM, stop a VM. Okay, if you want to change, make a change onto the VM, can do that. Select it, next, select a member to your Jitendra. Okay, selecting this one and just simply going to click on select. Next, to Jiten, I'm assigning bit privileged role, which is contributor, and simply going to click on review and assign. Okay, so we have waited, I think, enough. So let's just jump into the page of your Jitendra's account. I'm just going to refresh this one. And if I will click on virtual machines, I can see one virtual machine. Great. I will go back home. I will click on all resources and I can only see the VM. Okay. Even though what happened actually is, if I will go into my main admin account and I go to the RKVM M2, and it is part of this domain resource group. I will come to this architecture of uh, Azure as well a bit. So here you will see that there is going to be all these resources. But from all these resources, he is only able to see your, okay, RK Win 11. And even, there is a resource group. Resource group is where we are, a kind of a virtual container kind of a thing where you keep all your resources. So here, all the related resources to RK Win 11 and others also exist inside this resource group. But when you select this one, you will see no access in there. Fine. I will go ahead, select this virtual machine, go to this place, and you will see right now from overview page, I can't see the virtual network. I can't see the public IP address. Why? Because as a separate resource, no permission has been given to my user to go ahead and view the public IP address or virtual network. He only got the permission as a contributor onto this machine. That's it. So if you'll be going to the networking setting, you will see that you don't have permission to view the network security group, public IPs, your network interface card. So simply it is showing that you cannot see this permission. Go to overview page. Few details are available to you. Use them. No public IP address or anything. So if you compare it with the my main MCT account, there is going to be the public IP address, virtual network, all these details available over there, but not for Jitendra. So what again you can see Microsoft has done so much fine-grained access control over there that Jitendra has the access, good thing, but not onto the complete thing. Now, again, as we are talking about the Microsoft, and one thing also become bit important for you to understand, although I know it doesn't meant to go this much in depth, but to understand a lot of things, you need to understand the architecture of the Microsoft as well. Now, what happened in the Microsoft as well, that if you have any resource like a virtual machine, right? Now, this virtual machine is also going to be created with the virtual network. Also, there is going to be disk. Also, there is going to be the NSG or multiple resources. Now, these will be the part of a resource group. So resource group is like, what you are doing, you're creating a folder. Okay, so how you keep things over there, let's say that you go ahead to a party, so you'll be creating a folder of party. So if it goes for the 3 days, what you'll be having, day one photos, day two photos, day three, you'll be organizing them. So similarly, Microsoft, it follows a hierarchical model over there. So you will see that these resources are going to be the part of the resource group, which is like a folder over there, right? So there is going to be the resource group over there. Now, when you have a resource group, so let's say that this is a resource group one over here, and now all these resources are going to be the part of it. Okay, so this is going to be like first, second, third, fourth, like this. Now, very similar to this, what can also happen is there could be your, just give me a second. Resource group 2, right? And this could also be have these kind of resources with it, right? So there could be VM, VNet, disk, NSG, or right. So same here. So there could be the resource and resource groups. Now, why I'm showing you this kind of a hierarchical model over there? So you need to understand what happened right now is that the permission that has been given, it has been given on the your virtual machine level. So if my user has been given permission that you can see the VM, so you can only see the VM, not the other resources that is there, right? Now, if same user, if you will go ahead and you will give this user permission at the resource group level, so this user is gonna go ahead and have permission onto all these ones. This one, just like inheriting the property, right? So you inherit some property. So if this is a parent and these are the child, so child are going to inherit the property of the parent. This is going to happen over there. Now what happen is, because Microsoft, it follows the whole hierarchical model, so these resource groups could be again part of the could be the part of your subscription over there. like I'm going to have the different subscription. You can have multiple subscription. So if you have one subscription over here, so what happen is if you will be having a subscription like these, okay, these are going to be subscription where resource group 1, resource group 2 and all. So now if you've been given the permission onto the subscription level, okay, that same permission will be inherited by the resource group. If inherited by the resource group, then to be by the your resources as well. So Microsoft, it work at these kind of a hierarchical models over there. So parent-child architecture, and you could be going ahead and have these kind of the architectural permissions over there, one after another at the multiple point of time. So this kind of the architecture you need to understand. Why I'm showing you this thing is, so like right now, Jitendra is only able to see virtual machine, right? You know that Rishabh domain is the resource group name. So you will go there, there is no access. Although if Jitendra want, then can go ahead, go to this virtual machine because he's contributor. He has that kind of a power that if this machine is in the stopped state, if he want, he will click on start and he can start this particular machine. Okay, already the status has changed. Once the notification will be there, so we will have the confirmation that machine already been started. So in the meantime, what I will do, so you can see that machine status now. If I will go back here at home, come back to the same machine again, so you will see still it is showing stop, means taking a bit of a time. Okay, machine has been started. Now in this one, if I will go back to my home page, means my main admin account page, and from there if I will jump into the your RKWin11 M2 machine, I will see that it is now in the running state, means Jitendra is capable enough to change his status. I will go into the IM part. I will go to the role assignments over here. I am under role assignments, and privileged one I will select. For Jitendra, it is the contributor permission, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go and remove the role from here. Right. Once the rule is removed, so in few minutes, Jitendra should not be able to go ahead and see this particular virtual machine. But what I will do, instead of that, I will go into the resource group, bit higher in the hierarchy. Now on the resource group level. So in this resource group, if you will see, not only one machine, two machines are there. Multiple NSGs, disks are in this resource group. So I will go and go to the IAM part of the resource group. There I will go into the add a role assignment, and in this one we will be selecting things like the your this time a non-privileged role, job function role I will give like reader. So he can view all resource but not allowed to make any changes. So I will go in there, select this role, select next, assign it to the Jitendra, and select it. And then I will go on to the next and assign it over here itself. Now this role has been added over here. So what we will do, we will be just sitting over here. This is the rule has been added. So 1 to 2 minutes of waiting time, we will go ahead and we will be then switching back to the Jiten's account. Go to home page once, refresh it one time, go to the all resource section. So you will see right now it will show you empty because as I was telling you, the role changes that you have made, they will took few seconds, few minutes to get reflect into the account. So if we will wait around 1 minute, you will see right now it become empty because I removed the role of that contributor and then I added the reader role. So in few seconds, more than one resource will be available over there. And we just wait for that to happen. Okay, during this time, This is one thing that you'll be seeing with the resource. So I will jump into the section of all resources. Now you can see also. Now guys, if sometime you instantly click on domain group, it might not show you instantly the whole group, might show you no access, but in few seconds, if you'll be going again, it will be showing you the whole group. The changes that you have made, it might took few seconds, few minutes to sink in and make all the changes. So, if that happen, just wait. It is not that there is any error. This is usually how things happen in the cloud. So you can see that right now I can jump into the whole resource group and I can see all resources. So if I will go back to this machine, which was the RK Win 11 M2, and now I will see here that this is the your machine, which earlier Jitendra was starting. So this is a Jitendra's account, as you can see. Now, not only that, Jitendra can see public IP address, virtual network, can go to the network setting now and see all the network. Why? Because at a bit higher level, at the resource group level, he got the permission of reader, and now he can see all the resources related to read all the resources related to your same resource group, which is Rishabh domain. Okay, so if you go in this, every resource that is in there, he has the read permission. Now, if you go back and let's say that you try to stop this virtual machine, click on yes. Okay, ideally it should fail, but what happened? I will tell you one my personal experience. One day I was doing this kind of a thing, and what happened is, although I have given the reader earlier, I have given it the role of contributor. I revoke it. I give it again the reader role, and what happened? Machine got started stop. So sometime a glitch of API could cause into the some kind of a thing. Although that was I think not a glitch of a API, the things that was there, and as I can see, the glitch that I was talking about, it start deallocating the machine. Means I should have waited for a few more seconds, then the proper permission would have been applied over there. Okay, so in a public webinar, now you can see that these kind of things and glitches can happen. Okay, so in ideal situation, if you have waited enough, it is not going to allow that for particular thing to make change. Like for example, ideally, if I should go to the Archivin 11, it is in the stopped state, and I will click on start. It should be instantly giving me something like this: fail to start a virtual machine, right? Although in the Win 11 M2, I think situation was a bit different. Okay, so sometimes these things do happen. So I'm not here to go ahead and say everything is okay, good over the cloud. So sometimes, because what all the things that you are seeing, it is all the API calls, changes need to be made. So sometimes there could be a background glitch as well. So everything is not going to be something like all is good. So with the APIs and API calls, sometimes these kind of a thing they do happen. So if like we were seeing archive in 11, it actually got stopped, which is a bit surprising, right? Ideally, it shouldn't have been happening over here. So if I will refresh this one, you will see it is now stopped, deallocated, which might be a glitch onto this. And if I will now be trying to start it, you will see it is telling me fail to start a virtual machine. So the changes, it took few extra seconds to get applied onto my machines over there. So this is few things, and it has happened publicly. Now you guys are also aware about this whole scenario that you have to wait a few minutes as well. Now this is a bit onto the your RBAC, which will be coming into the your upcoming slides over there. So this is bit of the rules access control that you have seen over there. And during the lifetime of a particular, if I will talk about the lifetime management, it is gonna go ahead and it is going to be managed the different permissions role you will be giving to a particular resources over there itself. Okay, so now we are going to have all these resources working over here. Now let's just go ahead and let's just jump into the bit of a theory part as well. And simply, not too much we will be jumping into this one. We will be talking about the some other identities that is going to be in the your Entra ID. So I keep calling it the Azure AD. My habit, because from a long time its name was the Azure AD. Now it is Microsoft Entra ID. So there is, in the world of cloud computing, you should be aware, application and services are going to play a very crucial role. So these applications, they need access to the different resources like database, storage system, okay, your APIs to function very effectively. So traditionally, this access was granted through a user account. So many of you who has worked with the development and all, so what is happening? A user account is going to be created, and through that you will be giving the access to the different resources over there. Now, however, user account, they can be, sometime bit difficult to manage, especially for application which is running continuously with the direct user interaction. So this is where the workload identities, they come in. So they are kind of an invisible key that is going to unlock the cloud resource for your application and services operating system seamlessly behind the scenes over there. So we will say that why the workload identities. So why the workload identity are becoming important thing is, first is, if I will say, benefit of security workload itself, there are going to be some of the security concerns. Okay. So what is happening? A very simple thing I will tell you, that what you can do is you can just simply go ahead and do a lot of the manage thing with the help of this workload. So managing the long-lived user credential for application, it can be a security risk. So if it is got compromised, these credential could be used by the attacker to gain any unauthorized access to your resources over there. Then there is going to be the scalability changes. So as you go to the cloud environment and it grows, managing user account for each application, if you have a lot of application, is going to be challenging and difficult to scale multiple times. And third thing, it is going to provide you the streamlined administration over there. Okay, streamline administration. So workload identity, they are going to automate credential management, simplifying administration and reducing the risk of human errors over there. Now, what is going to be a workload identity? If I will talk about in very layman term, a very simple example I will try to give. Let's say that I want a policy to implement. Okay, I want a policy to be implemented in my resources, which is making few changes. Let's say that there was a Windows server. I want a policy to be implemented that is doing one simple thing, that is going ahead and that is going to change the particular, I would say, Windows setting. Like it is going to install an anti-malware over there. Now, for this thing, what I have to do, if manually I will be doing and creating a traditional user account, because what happen is security challenge is what, if a policy can do this directly. So if attacker, they also create a policy and want to make change in your infrastructure, they can do this. So that's why to make change into your infrastructure, that policy require an identity, and that identity will be having permission to make change like installing the anti-malware in Windows and all. So for that, what instead of making traditional user account for policy and all, you will be going with the workload identity. So for the workload, you can do this thing. So same thing for your databases application, you can do this thing, and those are going to be called your workloads identity over there, right? So when we talk about this, so in the Microsoft Entra ID, it offered two kind of the approach to the workload identities. One is going to be the managed identity. So, one is the two thing. One is going to be the managed identity. So multiple time I choose this managed identity. And second one is going to be the customer managed identity. So there will be two options. One is when you will be in this policy, one is going to be managed. Means Azure will go ahead, which is very convenient option. Multiple time with my threat intelligence API calls and all, I choose these kind of the option, which is the which is very convenient option for application which is running on Azure resources like Azure Virtual Machine, Azure Function. So when you enable managed identity for a resource, so your Entra ID will be automatically creating a unique identity for it. The application running on the resource, they can use those managed identity and access the Azure resources without any manual configuration over there. Second thing, customer managed identity. So if you want, this approach is going to for the organization which prefer to use their existing identity and access management system. So the Entra ID can be configured to trust identities from your on-premises Active Directory or from the external IAM provider, right? So additionally, Entra ID offer a features like workload identity federation, which is going to allow applications running on your on-premise or in the other cloud to acquire Azure AD tokens over there. So in simple terms, workload identity is going ahead, enhancing your security, simplifying the management, improving scalability for the cloud purpose, and the flexibility over there that you are going to work, with all these things. So, if you'll be going deep down over there, so there will be multiple workload identity use cases, like with the web application. So just one web application I'm talking about. Okay, because if I will keep talking about this, this is going to be too much in depth of this one. So web application is a web application which is running on Azure. They can use a managed identity to access like a secure database in the cloud. And multiple time in some of my keyword example, I show something like this, right? That we create an application's workload identity over there, and you will see. I will show you few of the options of these things. For microservices, data pipeline, background jobs, you can opt for the workload identity over there. Okay. Now, second thing is going to be the access management for the applications. So because we were talking about the application over there, so when we talk about the Microsoft Entra ID, which is our cloud-based IAM solution, it is going to be a central hub for all kind of identities, and even all the access management for the application. If you want to do with the Entra ID, you can do it from this central hub over there. So this is a central hub for user identity and access across different application, resource and service in my organization, and I can utilize. So why this application access management it matter? So imagine if your organization it utilize a variety of cloud application for tasks like email, document collaboration, CRM, customer relationship management, okay, and others as well. So each application server has a gateway to a sensitive information and functionality. If there is an uncontrolled access to these applications, it could lead to your data breach, okay, security breaches, data leaks, any unauthorized modification into your database itself. So when we talk about this, so Entra ID access management for application, it gives you centralized management first of all. So you can manage access to all your cloud application like Microsoft 365, SaaS application, on-premise application from a single pane of a glass. And this is going to help you to simplify and make sure a consistent access control policy is given all across over there. You can go ahead, you can have a granular permission. We just have seen that you can grant user right level of access at the different point. For example, we were seeing on a VM where it can access. Same for your application, what kind of the permission you can go ahead and you want to give. You can select those permission as well. I will talk about one simple example. I will not show you that because it is a very time taking example. In my AZ500 classes and all, I usually, and even SC-300, I show one thing where I register an application, give it the permission, all those kind of a thing. So it gives you the, all those kind of permission. And very interesting thing, when yesterday we were talking about the conditional access policy, right? So you will see here that you can set up cap for the SaaS application as well. So you can define if my user is using something like Office 365 or any specific application. So the permissions should be granted, blocked, and all these kind of a thing. So the conditional access, it is adding an additional checkpoint before user they can gain access to the application. So Entra ID is allowing us to define conditional access policy, which is going to restrict our access on the basis of like device type, location, user risk, all these things that is going to be over there. And overall, the benefit of this is going to be that you are going to have enhanced security, simplified management, and improved user access, experience over there itself. Now, when we are talking about all these resources and everything, so apart from this, we are going to have a bit more onto these part. So like I was talking about, so bit theory we need to discuss. So identity governance, right? So when we talk about the identity governance over there, so traditionally access control, it is focused on what? Granting or denying access to a very specific resource. This is going to remain crucial, a task for the identity governance as well. So identity governance is going to take a broader perspective over here. So it is going to encompass the entire life cycle of user identity within your organization, making sure that they are properly provisioned, managed, and ultimately deactivated whenever it is necessary. So you can think identity governance as a art of managing the user identity, the who, what, when, where, why, and how of user access within your organization system and resources. So if you remember yesterday, we were talking about something like, privilege identity management as well, right? How the privilege identity is going to go ahead and get managed over there itself. Okay. So when we are talking about these things, so we will talk about the some pillars of your identity governance. So like yesterday when we were discussing about the PIM, so one point it came up that was the access review. So here as well, like I was giving you the example, for 10 years, if a person is going to work, he is going to or she is going to accumulate a particular experience permission over 10 years of time. So at a regular interval, you should be reviewing the access over there. So regular access review, they are essential to make sure that user continue to have a legitimate need for permission that they hold. So, we have to imagine a user here who has granted access to a financial system for a specific project. Now, if that project has been completed, an access review can identify this and remove all the unnecessary accesses, privileges, and reduce the risk of any unauthorized access over here. Now, we will be talking about the entitlement management. Okay, I will just quickly go into the portal, and wherever possible, I will show you these, access reviews and all these things. Don't worry about it. Practically, again, I will be coming to those parts. Not whole thing I can show you, but yes, I will give you the idea where it is going to be over there. Second is entitlement management, which focus on defining, requesting, and approving the access to a resource based on your business need and user role. So there should be a clear and defined process for this entitlement management, which is going to make sure that user has the right level of access to perform their job effectively while minimizing the risk of over privileged accounts over there. So you just have to keep that in mind over there. Now, if we talk about this in user lifecycle, third thing, user lifecycle management. So it is total from onboarding to offboarding that is going to be over there. So this is the ongoing process which makes sure that user identity they are properly provisioned with the necessary access when they join the organization, managed and monitored through their employment, and ultimately deactivated when they leave the organization. So effective user lifecycle management, it is going to prevent or and all the orphaned account and make sure only the active user has access to the critical resource over there. Now, as we talk about these many features, so what I will do, I will take you to this Entra portal where I have a demo account. Why I want to take you here is that here we will be seeing something like the access reviews and all. So first of all, if we will be seeing here, there is going to be a lot of options over there, identity protection and all. Now, we were talking about the conditional access policy, where you will be finding that. So here, under the protection, if you will go, you will be finding conditional access. Okay. In the conditional access, if you go in here, I think here, this is going to be the policy page. And remember, this is going to be, this service is not for free. So you need to have an additional license for that. So here, if you will go, you can see the new policies. And as I was telling you, that you can select that for which user. Let's say, for example, I want a very specific user or a group. So user and group, I will select. I will go under the group. There is my executive team, or let's say finance team. I will select my finance team, and for my finance team, I will select target resource. So if I will say that if any of my finance team is using a very specific cloud app, so I'm going to select the specific app over there. Here I will click on select. There is going to be a complete chart of the apps that we are utilizing, even if we have registered some app. Okay, like here, if I'm saying if my team is using the Office 365 portal, and then I can add condition for them. Okay, so first of all, let me select this thing. Okay, then in the conditional access, I will be selecting these things based on the user risk inside of this, which device they are using, where they are, which client app they are using. So on a basis of this, I can create a whole conditional access policy, what they are doing over there. So this is one thing. Second thing, on the application, you will see I'm going to have that workload identity and all the application, giving the application an identity. You will be seeing that there are going to be some of the, if I go to the all application, these are some enterprise applications that are being used. Okay. And let's say that if I will have my own application, I will register that application over here and give this, let's say, for my SQL database. Okay, I will say SQL database app over here for a single tenant, and I will register this application over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to create an identity for my application. That is going to be this one. I'm going to utilize these IP over there. So this is my application ID. I can generate credential over there. I can do the branding and properties for my application. Whatever my application is, I can define its authentication purposes. I can add platform which it will be supporting. I can define API permissions and all. So if to your application you want to go ahead and give the permission, this is going to be the place which you will be looking for. Now, as we were talking about the access reviews and all, and all these things, so here I'm going to talk or show you the few more feature which is part of the identity governance. So from here, entitlement management, access reviews, all these features are going to be over here. If you want, you can do those kind of the create access packages, do the entitlement management, privilege identity management, access review. You will find even lifecycle workflow as well. You are going to go ahead and see over there. So for this one, you required a very separate license. So like yesterday I was talking about, there is Entra ID P1 license, P2 license, and newly launched identity governance license. For this one, I am going to require Microsoft Entra ID governance license. Okay, which will be, I think, if we will be seeing the pricing, if I will be going to the licenses page, plans and pricing, you can just simply check it out. What will be the price? Here you will see that it is going to have the different pricing available over here. Now that person who is performing these tasks, obviously for me, like for my MCK account, I am having the free tier. Then you can have a premium P1 licenses, which is $6 per user per month. Then Entra ID P2 license over here, which is going to have your $9 per user per month. Then there is going to be the ID governance, which is $7 per user per month over there. So with each of these, you will be finding a heap of features that got unlocked. So if you will see identity protection over here, it is going to be enabled with the P2 license only, right? So same, if you open the identity governance feature, some is available to P1 and P2. Okay, so basic entitlement management, which is separation of duty, basic entitlement management, and if you will go ahead, a PIMP feature is with the P2 and the identity governance feature. Lot of thing has been removed from the P1 licenses as well because they introduce a new license. Again, yes, Microsoft also want to make money via giving you these features, and this is their business strategy, business plan. This is how they are learning, earning. So these things are there. So when we were talking about the pillars of all these access review and everything, the what these things are and all, we'll be talking about all these things. So the access review, they are not one-time event. Ideally, they should be conducted periodically to make sure that users access it remains justified. So Entra ID offer a feature to automate this whole access review and streamline the process and save the IT administrators valuable times. So these reviews, they can be targeted at a specific user, group, role, or even the applications. So when access review is going to identify a user whose access is no longer justified, remediation action can be taken, and you can remove unnecessary permission or disable the account if they no longer going to be required by the organization itself over there. So you will see this access review, even entitlement management. So you will see things like self-service required, role-based access control. We have already seen that these things are going to be the right access at the right time you need to give. And with the PIM, I will be showing you that entitlement management a bit more. Okay. So we were having this Entra ID portal with my demo account, all user and everything was ready. So under here, if you will see, this is the access review process. So in the access review, okay. So license requirement for this feature has changed after October 30th of 2023. Now, it is going to tell you that identity governance is the king. Okay, you require that license. So you will be creating a new access review. You'll be selecting what you want to review, like a group or a team or an application you want to review. That application has unnecessary permission or not. So you'll be selecting all your, permission. These are my registered application, enterprise application, even the one which I selected, and you want to review them, that these apps does, these are the applications identity. Does these apps are going to have unnecessary permission over here or not? So I'm gonna go ahead. I will be selecting it. Let's say, for example, for a group, and I will say a team group. For example, I want to review the group, let's say financial team, that who should be the member of this group. Because what happens is sometimes we give the permission to the group. So let's say that to a project, I am giving permission to directly to a finance group. What happened over there is, let's say that there used to be a user with the name Mahesh. Right. Now that Mahesh has already leave the organization, but still Mahesh account is not deleted and he is a part of a particular group, or Mahesh moved to the different division. He's no more part of the finance division. Still, this is something that is working over there, right? So this is something that actually going to work like this over here. So you have to be careful about this, right? So this is the few things that you have to keep it mind over here. Okay, so when we are talking about these things, there's all these things. So here, next you can create the review. Who should review it? Okay, you can define a group owner itself should review, or selected user. You can specify who should be the reviewer, and that reviewer also need to have a P2 license or identity governance license. Now, do you want to repeat this thing quarterly, weekly, monthly? As I was telling you, this should not be the one-time task. It should be the continuous task for over the years. So you should be defining a start date, end date, settings, and all you will be defining under the access review over here. And then next thing, like I was saying, entitlement managements and all. So remember I was yesterday talking about the roles which is going to fail and all. So for example, I will be selecting it for the Microsoft Entra roles, and here from this place you can define the role which is going to go ahead and expired at a specific time. So for example, there is going to be the role like the user administrator, right? So you were selecting this role. Now, if you will assign this role now from here, so you will see all this type over there, user role directory, select the member. For example, I am selecting, Adele over here. I will go on to the next. Now, you are not seeing these things. Now you are seeing these things that yesterday I was talking about. Do you want to give a permanent rule? And if I will say active rule, active means instantly you become the user administrator from this date to this date. So I have unchecked this box. If I want to make someone permanent, give someone this role, I can check this box. If I want to give it temporary purpose or for a specific time period, I will be selecting this option that this is going to be my requirement over here. I will enter my justification over here for the all this. And remember, all this is part of identity governance. So why I want to give this role user I would say temporary rule and all. And then there is going to be the eligible rule. The example which I was telling you that every day for next 15 days, like I will select it from 14 to the end of this month, this user will become, oh, this is too much. Okay, I think it's 2025, my bad. So I have to come to the April of your here. Here, select it. And for next 15 day, I will make it eligible. So what that person will come every day, let's say at 9 and ask that can I become, you know, a particular administrator. So if I want, I can make the setting like this that someone has to approve the access, and then again for 8 hour or for 7 hour for the next 15 day, whenever he wants this role, he has to request this role that okay, I want to go ahead and Adil wants to go ahead and Adil wants to work with this. So every time activate my role for 8 hours, for 10 hours, for the next 30 days, and after 30 days it will be automatically removed. So when we talk about lot of features are going to be there. So when we talk about these features in my Microsoft Entra ID, so for the entitlement management, your access reviews, all these things are going to be over there. Even you will see the option of maintaining the external identities are going to be available for all of us over there. So this is going to be a complete life cycle from the your onboarding to offboarding over there, right? And with all these things, because we are towards the wrapping up the whole session, do not forget about one thing. You are here, you are just simply going ahead, identity governance and all features you are seeing. But one thing which is very important in the cybersecurity field, that is going to be the monitoring your whole identity over there, right? So you cannot just escape from monitoring all the resources over there. So when we talk about few things you need to be aware, that is going to be your troubleshooting and monitoring. That is going to be the part of your resources over there. So when we talk about the troubleshooting and monitoring, so even we are securing our identities and we are having the access control measures in place, unexpected challenges they can happen at any time. So when we talk about the some troubleshooting and monitoring your entire ID, environment, we have to be a bit knowledgeable about it. So we can imagine a well defended castle over here, and just like very vigilant guard who constantly patrol the walls of the tower. Proactive monitoring in Azure AD is going to help you to identify potential security threats before these things can escalate into the major breaches. So we will also explore techniques to troubleshoot access issues and all these things. So you have to go ahead and few things that you have to keep in mind. You have to always keep a proactive monitoring over there, troubleshooting any access issues that is going to be over there, and you have to follow some best practices for logging and auditing over there. So proactive monitoring is when we talk about this, so it is the kind of main important feature of maintaining the secure identity environment. And it is Azure actually offer you the set of the different tools like dashboard and all self-service request and approval, all these things you can perform. Even, if there is any error, sign-in logs, conditional access policy, all these kind of the logs you will be finding out in the your Entra ID itself. So all monitoring options, troubleshooting, log retention. So all these options are available. If we will be just, I'll be just showing you here in my Azure portal. Why I'm showing you this? Because I work with the Microsoft Sentinel as well, majorly. So there as well, we go ahead and we collect the logs from here. So if we talk about the troubleshooting and the monitoring part, so this is going to be the whole section which we'll be looking into over there. So for example, if you are looking for the sign-in logs over there, so there is going to be the whole heap of the resources that is going to be over there. So when we are going to select any one of these, you are gonna go ahead and you are going to see, right, the device, all the complete basic information of the logs. Then from where someone was accessing, device informations, authentication details, conditional access policies. If even, yes, one thing, if you have implemented the conditional access policy. So like here, if you go in there, in one of the slide I was talking about in access issues, so deciphering error message, there will be sign-in logs. There is going to be the conditional access policy logs. So what if you have applied the conditional access policy and it is not working properly and you want to test the logs? So if you will go into these places like this, I'm showing you over here. Let me just switch back, resume. So if you will see here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to have this here conditional access section. So whether your policy was effective, failed, blocked, it is going to show you all the things over here. Then this is going to go ahead and then there is the report only section, which is one of the feature in the conditional access policy over there. Then there is going to go ahead and go with the audit logs, right? These are the all the audit logs, provisioning log. This is going to be the log analytics space, diagnostic settings, where to forward the log further. So all you will see. So if someone you will be seeing over here, I am, because there was one question by Hari, can we forward the log over here? So you will be already seeing in the past, I have connected this Entra ID with my some sentinels, workspaces in the past over there. So you can see that yes, you have these options over there. This is going to be a total dashboard. You can have monitoring dashboard over here as well, signed in attempts and all, properties and all. So you can go ahead and you can check out for these kind of a request as well. Even you want to export data setting, you can do that. You can download these logs as well in CSV JSON. Okay, so multiple options are going to be available for us over here. So troubleshooting and monitoring features are going to be available to us at a different part over here itself, right? And with this one, we will be going ahead and this is going to be one of the last thing which we will be seeing onto the your particular in this particular webinar, right? So in this particular webinar, I use this demo account for you just to show you features like identity governance feature is not available with my MCT account. As there I haven't activated P2 licenses, identity governance licenses. So this demo account was having all those access, and that's why I was showing you these features over here. These are going to be one of the part.